The world doesn't reward honesty. It rewards strategy. No matter how kind you are, someone will use it against you. No matter how patient you are, someone less deserving will take what's yours. That's not injustice. That's design. Society was never built to make you powerful. It was built to make you predictable. From the moment you were born, you were trained to follow invisible rules. Be nice, be humble, be loyal, be patient, be honest, be like everyone else. They call it morality. But it's really control. Because the more rules you follow, the easier you are to rule. Machiavelli saw this centuries ago. He understood that the system doesn't fail the good man. It uses him. The truth is simple but brutal. If you want freedom, you must unlearn what they taught you. You must break the rules they worship. Today, we expose the 7 rules of society you should never follow. The ones that keep you weak, broke, and obedient. And the truths that will make you untouchable. But remember, this is not about destruction. It's about defense. Because once you see these rules for what they are, you'll never go back to the man you were before. Always tell the truth. That's what they told you. They said honesty makes you pure, that transparency builds trust, that truth will set you free. But that's not what happens in reality, is it? Tell the truth to the wrong person, and they'll use it against you. Tell the truth too early, and they'll steal your ideas. Tell the truth too often, and you'll give away your power. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He wrote that a ruler must learn to disguise his intentions, because men judge by appearances, not by facts. They see what you show them, not who you really are. Society glorifies honesty because it makes people predictable. When everyone reveals everything, the system stays safe. No surprises, no threats, no power shifts. That's why the world loves transparency. It's control disguised as virtue. Radical honesty sounds noble, but in practice it's naive. It's an open book handed to a thief. The truth is not sacred. It's strategic, and power belongs to those who know when to reveal it. There are 3 kinds of honesty. Moral honesty, which makes you feel good. Social honesty, which makes you seem good. And strategic honesty, which makes you powerful. Most people live in the first 2, telling the truth out of habit, emotion, or guilt. They think honesty is purity, but in the game of power, honesty is timing. Look at the world's most influential people: politicians, CEOs, negotiators, military strategists. They don't lie recklessly. They simply reveal what benefits them, and nothing more. That's not deception. That's discipline. Here's what society never tells you. Information is currency. And every time you speak, you spend it. So the next time you feel the urge to be transparent, ask yourself, who benefits from this truth? Me or them? Because when honesty serves others more than it serves you, it becomes self-betrayal. The wise speak truth like a blade, sharp, deliberate, and controlled. They never swing wildly. They cut only when necessary. The weak, however, speak truth like water, constantly spilling, hoping to be liked for their openness. But the more they speak, the more they're understood. And the more they're understood, the easier they are to manipulate. In modern life, radical honesty destroys advantage. Tell your coworkers everything, they'll compete smarter. Tell your partner every insecurity, they'll lose respect. Tell your enemies your plans, they'll make sure they fail. That's not authenticity. That's exposure. Authenticity isn't about revealing everything. It's about revealing what's necessary and hiding what's strategic. The powerful man is not dishonest. He's disciplined with truth. He knows when silence is stronger than confession, when a half-truth protects more than a full explanation, and when mystery commands more respect than honesty ever could. There's a reason Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." That wasn't cynicism. It was survival. He understood that humans crave simplicity. They don't want truth. They want comfort. And your raw honesty will only remind them how uncomfortable truth really is. So control what they see. Reveal what strengthens your position. Hide what exposes your weakness. Because if they can read you completely, they can control you completely. Here's the rule. Honesty without boundaries is self-destruction. Bounded honesty is power. You don't owe the world your every thought. You owe yourself protection. So be truthful, but never transparent. Be sincere, but never predictable. Tell the truth when it benefits you, and stay silent when it doesn't. Remember, power doesn't belong to those who shout the truth. It belongs to those who know which truths to whisper, and when. Because the truth is a weapon, and in the wrong hands, even your own truth can be used to destroy you. From the moment you were born, they've been teaching you how to disappear. Be normal. Blend in. Don't stand out. Be like everyone else. They don't call it submission. They call it belonging. They make you believe that fitting in means safety. But safety is just another word for invisibility. Because when you fit in perfectly, you stop existing as yourself. You become part of the system that feeds on you. Society praises conformity because it keeps order. But order isn't freedom. Order is control disguised as peace. You are rewarded for obedience, for following trends, opinions, and values that aren't yours. They give you social acceptance as a leash, and you wear it proudly because everyone else does too. That's the game. The system doesn't want thinkers. It wants mirrors. People who reflect whatever they're told, never questioning who's holding the light. Machiavelli saw this centuries ago. He understood that societies maintain stability by suppressing difference. A man who thinks for himself threatens the structure. A man who obeys keeps it alive. That's why conformity is celebrated. It's not morality, it's maintenance. Because a nation of obedient minds will never revolt. They'll never challenge injustice. They'll never rise above mediocrity. And that's exactly why most people remain average. Not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack courage to stand apart. Look around you. Every generation repeats the same patterns, the same goals, the same fears, the same desires programmed by the same culture that profits from them. People don't think, they imitate. They wear what others wear. They believe what others believe. They pursue what others pursue. And when they see someone who refuses to conform, someone who walks alone, speaks differently, or rejects their trends, they don't admire him, they attack him. Because nothing threatens a conformist more than someone who doesn't need the crowd. Machiavelli would tell you, the one who stands apart commands the crowd. The one who joins it disappears inside it. You must never fear being the outsider. Fear instead becoming ordinary. Because the world never remembers those who fit in, only those who break the pattern. To fit in is to play a role written by someone else. You repeat the same script as millions before you, and when the play ends, no one even remembers your name. But when you break character, when you improvise, when you reject the script, that's when the audience wakes up. Power begins with difference. Every movement that changed the world, every idea, every revolution, every empire started with someone who didn't fit in. They were ridiculed first, feared next, then followed. Because society always mocks what it secretly admires: independence. But let's be clear. Refusing to fit in doesn't mean being reckless. It means being intentional. It means knowing what you believe, why you believe it, and having the strength to stand by it even when the crowd turns against you. Most people don't have that strength. They trade individuality for comfort, uniqueness for acceptance, truth for peace. They choose the easy life, the life of quiet conformity. And that's why they'll never lead. Because leadership requires solitude, and solitude terrifies the obedient. Machiavelli believed that the most dangerous man is the one who no longer fears being alone, because that man cannot be controlled by rejection. He cannot be bribed with validation. He cannot be seduced by belonging. He doesn't crave followers. He attracts them, because he moves with conviction, not consensus. Here's the truth. To be original is to be misunderstood. To be strong is to be hated before you are respected. And to be truly free is to accept that most people will never understand you. And that's okay. Because your goal is not to fit in. It's to stand out so completely that others must adjust to your gravity. So stop apologizing for being different. Stop chasing the approval of people who secretly envy your courage. Stop bending your edges just to fit into a shape they find comfortable. Conformity may buy you temporary peace, but individuality earns you eternal respect. Remember this law: the crowd fears the one who walks alone, because he cannot be influenced. So walk alone when you must. Speak truth when others stay silent. And when they tell you to fit in, smile, because that's how you'll know you're already above them. They tell you to be humble, to stay grounded, to never make too much noise about your success. They say it's a virtue, but it's really a strategy of control. Humility sounds noble, but for most people it's not strength. It's fear disguised as virtue. The world praises humility because it keeps powerful people silent. Because when you hide your strength, you make others feel comfortable in their weakness. And that's exactly what society wants: comfort, not excellence. Think about it. The moment you start rising, they say, don't get arrogant. The moment you start winning, they say, stay humble. They're not protecting your soul. They're protecting their egos. Because your confidence reminds them of everything they could have been but weren't. Your success exposes their excuses. Your ambition threatens their stability. So they tell you to dim your light and call it humility. Machiavelli understood the danger of appearing too powerful. He wrote that a prince should appear merciful, faithful, humane, and religious, but only appear so. Because too much humility invites predators. To survive, you must learn balance. Display modesty when it's strategic, but never believe you owe it to anyone. Humility is useful camouflage. It disarms envy. It hides ambition. It keeps enemies asleep. But humility is a lifestyle. That's how lions starve pretending to be sheep. You've been taught that arrogance is evil. But there's a difference between arrogance and awareness of power. Arrogance screams. Awareness observes. Arrogance demands attention. Awareness commands it without trying. The humble man avoids the spotlight. The aware man owns it when it shines on him, then steps back into the shadows when he's done. That's control. That's discipline. That's Machiavellian humility. Appearance, not surrender. Let's make it real. In business, the humble worker never asks for more, so he's forgotten. The confident one makes his value visible, so he's promoted. In relationships, the overly humble partner never expresses needs, so they're taken for granted. The self-assured one sets standards and earns respect. In life, humility without power doesn't inspire people. It invites exploitation. Because when you always bow your head, someone eventually steps on it. True humility is not silence. It's strategic silence. It's knowing when to let others speak and when to make your words weigh more than theirs. It's the ability to appear harmless while remaining completely capable of harm. That's the difference between virtue and vulnerability, between composure and compliance. The world's most powerful individuals mastered this art. They don't shout their victories. They don't brag. They don't need to. Their presence speaks for them. Their results echo louder than their words. Their confidence radiates even when they say nothing. They've learned that humility is a tool, not a lifestyle. Here's the Machiavellian principle. Be humble in manner, powerful in essence. A lion doesn't roar all day to prove it's a lion. It moves silently until it's time to kill. And when that moment comes, the jungle remembers who it's dealing with. You must carry that same energy. Don't suppress your power. Discipline it. Let the world underestimate you. Let them think you're smaller than you are. Then when the moment demands it, show them what humility was hiding all along. The wise man wears humility like armor, not like a chain. He uses it to deflect envy, to hide strength, to plan in peace. He knows the difference between appearing humble and becoming invisible. Machiavelli would tell you this: when you pretend to be humble, you protect your ambition. When you truly become humble, you bury it. So appear modest when it serves you. But in your heart, never bow, never shrink, never forget who you are. Because the moment you believe humility is virtue, you'll stop aiming for greatness and start apologizing for it. Remember this law. False humility keeps you small. Strategic humility keeps you safe. Know when to bow, know when to rise, and know when the performance ends. Because in the theater of power, the humblest smile often hides the sharpest mind. You've heard it since childhood. Be nice to everyone. Don't offend anyone. Keep the peace. But here's the truth Machiavelli understood. The man who tries to please everyone eventually pleases no one. Niceness is not virtue, it's control. Society preaches it because it keeps people tame. A nice man is predictable, safe, and easy to ignore. He won't challenge authority. He won't say no. He won't draw boundaries. He'll swallow his anger and call it maturity. That's exactly what they want. Because once you fear being disliked, you become a puppet. You'll compromise your truth just to keep harmony. You'll betray your instincts just to keep peace. And you'll hand over your strength in exchange for approval. Niceness, when used as a constant state, destroys power. It erases respect. It makes people comfortable taking advantage of you because they know you'll forgive them. But here's the paradox. The same people who tell you to be nice will secretly admire those who aren't. They'll gossip about the ruthless, but they'll follow them. They'll criticize the assertive, but they'll obey them. They'll label the unafraid as arrogant, because deep down, they wish they could be the same. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must learn how not to be good and use goodness only when it serves his purpose. He wasn't celebrating cruelty. He was warning against blindness. To survive in power, you must understand when kindness is strategic and when it's suicide. Think about the strongest people you know. They aren't cruel, but they are selective. Their kindness is earned, not automatic. Their forgiveness has a cost. Their respect must be reciprocated. They understand that goodness, when constant, becomes weakness. And that fear, when measured, earns more loyalty than endless niceness ever will. Imagine two leaders. One tries to be loved by everyone. He avoids confrontation, says yes when he should say no, and hides behind politeness to avoid tension. The other leader is calm but firm. He chooses when to be warm and when to be cold. He rewards loyalty but punishes betrayal. Who do you think commands more respect? It's never the one who's nice. It's the one who's necessary. Being nice is easy. Being respected requires strategy. Niceness is an emotion. Respect is a perception. And perception, in the world of power, is everything. When you're too nice, you tell the world that your comfort matters more than your boundaries, that your peace matters more than your self-respect. And that's why people cross lines with you, because you taught them it was safe to. Machiavelli would tell you this: if you must choose, it's better to be respected than liked, because respect endures, liking fades. People admire the kind, but they obey the strong. So stop trying to make everyone happy. Stop apologizing for saying no. Stop lowering your voice to keep the peace. You don't need to be aggressive. You need to be so grounded in your values that no one can guilt you into breaking them. True power is quiet confidence. It's kindness with limits. It's calm with claws. When you master that balance, you stop being nice and you start being effective. Remember this law: unconditional kindness is a leash. Strategic kindness is a weapon. Be polite when it serves your purpose. Be cold when it protects your peace. Because if you're always nice, you'll become invisible, and the world does not reward what it can't see. They tell you to be patient, to wait for your time, to trust that good things come to those who wait. But that's not wisdom. That's sedation. Because patience, when preached by the powerful, is not advice. It's containment. It's how society teaches lions to wait for permission before hunting. It's how potential is turned into obedience. Be patient. You've heard it 1,000 times. When your ideas are ignored, when your talent is overlooked, when your voice is silenced. They say it to keep you calm, to make you believe that waiting is virtue and that ambition is arrogance. But look closely. Those who tell you to be patient are never the ones waiting. They're the ones already sitting where you're trying to go. Machiavelli understood this psychological trap. He wrote that fortune favors the bold, not the hesitant. That great power is never given, it's taken. Patience, when used without strategy, is not strength, it's stagnation. Because while you're waiting for your time to come, someone else is taking it. The world doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who move while others are waiting. Look at history. The ambitious always strike before the crowd realizes it's time. They act when the opportunity still looks like chaos. They move when others are still asking for permission. That's why they win. They understand that your time is not a date written in destiny. It's a door. And that door only opens when you're willing to kick it down. Society praises patience because it keeps people harmless. It tells the dreamers to wait until they're ready, the workers to wait until they're noticed, and the brave to wait until it's safe. And while they wait, those who understand Machiavelli's law reshape the world in silence. Because the truth is brutal but simple. The world is built by those who act before it's ready. But let's be clear. Machiavelli never dismissed patience completely. He valued it as a weapon, not a belief. Patience is powerful when it's active, when it's used to observe, prepare, and plan your strike. But once it turns passive, it becomes poison. Waiting without intention isn't wisdom, it's surrender. Let's make it real. Two men want success. One waits. He tells himself, My time will come. He plans endlessly, refines endlessly, doubts endlessly, until years vanish. The other moves. He makes mistakes, yes, but he adjusts, adapts, learns. And while the patient man dreams, the daring man builds. That's the difference between the ambitious and the obedient, between those who rise and those who rot in potential. Patience is only powerful when paired with readiness to strike. It's not about waiting for the right moment. It's about making the moment right. The wise man waits with purpose. He studies quietly. He gathers information, resources, and leverage. Then, when the time aligns, he acts ruthlessly fast. That's not patience, that's precision. So don't misunderstand this law. The message isn't be impatient. It's stop confusing stillness with strategy. You're not meant to wait for your time. You're meant to create it. Every second you hesitate, someone else is moving. Someone else is executing. Someone else is becoming who you were meant to be. Machiavelli would tell you this: the world doesn't care who deserves power. It only cares who takes it. And those who wait for permission end up ruled by those who never asked for it. So the next time someone says, be patient, your time will come, remember, it's not a prophecy. It's a command meant to keep you still. Your time doesn't come. It's created, claimed, and defended. So stop waiting for the right moment. Act before the crowd wakes up. Strike before the opportunity is named. Because when everyone finally sees the door, it's already closed, and the key will be in your hand. Patience is not a virtue. It's a strategy. Use it when it helps you move unseen, not when it stops you from moving at all. And when the world tells you to wait your turn, remember this: the powerful don't wait. They decide when their turn begins. They told you that loyalty is everything, that good people never switch sides, that loyalty defines your character, and that betrayal is the ultimate sin. It sounds noble, it sounds righteous, but like most of society's rules, it's a trap. Because blind loyalty doesn't make you virtuous, it makes you vulnerable. The world praises loyalty because it keeps the system stable. The loyal employee never questions the boss. The loyal citizen never challenges authority. The loyal friend never walks away, even when the friendship turns poisonous. You've been conditioned to believe that staying loyal is the same as being good. But Machiavelli knew the truth. Loyalty without self-interest is slavery. Loyalty has two sides. One is strength, the other is submission. When loyalty is chosen, it creates trust and alliance. But when it's demanded, it becomes control. The powerful know this. That's why they build systems of loyalty around them. Not because they value it, but because they know how effective it is for keeping others obedient. Think about it. When someone says, be loyal, what they really mean is, be loyal to me. They rarely mean loyalty to truth, or to fairness, or to yourself. They mean loyalty to their interests, their narrative, their control. And when you finally question them, they'll call you ungrateful, disloyal, a traitor. That's how the system protects itself, by weaponizing your integrity. Machiavelli studied the psychology of loyalty in princes and rulers. He observed that most alliances are not built on honor, they're built on advantage. He wrote that men are ungrateful, fickle, and false, and that loyalty lasts only until it conflicts with personal gain. So he advised leaders to never depend on it, to control loyalty, not trust it. Because loyalty built on emotion dies when pressure rises. But loyalty built on mutual interest survives every storm. Understand this law. You owe loyalty only to what protects your purpose. That means people, principles, and systems that align with your values, not the ones that drain them. If a job no longer respects you, you don't owe it your years. If a relationship no longer honors you, you don't owe it your silence. If a mentor stops teaching and starts controlling, you don't owe them your obedience. Leaving these situations isn't betrayal. It's clarity. Loyalty is not about staying. It's about knowing when to go. The naive man believes loyalty is moral. The wise man knows loyalty is transactional. Not in a cold, selfish way, but in a realistic one. Every relationship is an exchange of value, whether it's emotional, professional, or political. When that exchange becomes one-sided, loyalty turns into a leash. The powerful cut it. The powerless worship it. True loyalty is earned, not demanded. It's mutual, not manipulated. It's loyal to growth, not stagnation. You can be loyal to your family, but still refuse to inherit their limitations. You can be loyal to your work, but still demand the respect you deserve. You can be loyal to your friends, but still walk away when loyalty costs you your self-respect. That's not betrayal. That's evolution. Machiavelli would tell you this: appear loyal, speak with respect, but never give anyone the ability to destroy you in the name of loyalty, because the same people who praise your devotion today will blame you tomorrow when the tides change. Don't be the soldier who dies for a general who's already surrendered. Don't be the follower who stays behind when the leader abandons his vision. Be loyal to principles, not personalities. To purpose, not promises. And when you give loyalty, give it like a loan, not a gift. Watch how they handle it. See if they return it with value. If they do, you've found an ally. If they don't, reclaim it before it costs you everything. Because loyalty, once betrayed, should never be repeated. Remember this law. Loyalty is powerful only when it's conditional. Conditional on respect. Conditional on reciprocity. Conditional on truth. That's how you turn loyalty from a leash into leverage. So stay loyal, but never to those who would chain you with it. Stay devoted, but only to what keeps your fire alive. And when they accuse you of betrayal, smile. Because that's the moment you know you've finally stopped being owned. They tell you life is about being happy, that your purpose is to find joy, that success means smiling all the time, and that peace means never feeling pain again. It sounds beautiful, but it's a lie. The most seductive one ever told. Because when the world tells you to chase happiness, what it's really saying is, stop chasing power. Society glorifies happiness because it keeps you harmless. Happy people don't question, they don't rebel, they don't fight. They consume, they obey, they smile, and they stay quiet. That's why comfort is sold as the highest goal, because comfort kills curiosity, it kills ambition, it kills the hunger that builds empires. The pursuit of happiness is the perfect prison. You decorate your cell with luxuries. You call it peace, and you never notice the bars. Machiavelli understood something far darker, that the greatest minds rarely live in happiness. They live in clarity. He wrote that men are driven by either fear or ambition, and that both create tension, conflict, and struggle. But that struggle is what keeps a man alive. The man who avoids struggle in search of constant happiness is already dying, quietly. Real growth feels nothing like happiness. It feels like resistance. It feels like uncertainty. It feels like chaos testing your limits. But that's what evolution is, the constant destruction of your old self. And yet society teaches you to run from that, to seek pleasure, to numb pain, to believe that comfort is peace. But comfort isn't peace. It's numbness. It turns the human spirit into a domesticated animal, safe, calm, and forgettable. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who changed history, the ones who built nations, led revolutions, reshaped culture. Were they happy? Rarely. But were they fulfilled? Absolutely. Because fulfillment doesn't come from pleasure. It comes from purpose. It comes from the discipline to pursue meaning even when it hurts. The strong understand this law. Happiness is a byproduct, not a destination. You feel it sometimes, but you never chase it. You chase meaning, you chase mastery, you chase truth. And in those rare moments when everything aligns, you taste happiness as a reward, not as a right. Society will tell you you're wrong for thinking this way. They'll call you cold. They'll call you cynical. Because they need you to believe that comfort is success. So you never question why you're still unfulfilled. But Machiavelli would whisper to you what few can hear. The goal is not to be happy. It's to be free. And freedom demands sacrifice. It demands pain, solitude, and power over your own emotions. That's why few ever find it, because they'd rather feel good than become great. So stop chasing happiness. Stop measuring your life by moments of pleasure. Start measuring it by how much you've grown, endured, and built. Because happiness comes and goes, power stays, and peace only arrives when you've earned the right to stand above what once controlled you. Remember this law: happiness is the bait, purpose is the hook, and only the wise escape the line. When you stop needing to be happy, you become unstoppable, because nothing can manipulate a man who no longer fears discomfort. That's where real strength begins. And that's where this journey ends. You've now learned the 7 rules society uses to keep you obedient, and the 7 truths Machiavelli would use to set you free. These lessons aren't about cruelty. They're about clarity. They're not about dominating others. They're about refusing to be dominated by illusion. You were never meant to live by their rules. You were meant to understand them, outthink them, and rewrite them. So ask yourself, which rule still controls you? And more importantly, how much longer will you let it? If this opened your eyes, hit that like button. If you believe more people need to hear the truth about power, share this video. And if you want more insights on psychology, strategy, and self-mastery, subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is only the beginning. Welcome to the inner circle, where power is no longer something you chase. It's something you become.